What is up, you motorheads and bumper bunnies? Welcome back, and we're going to review a little bit of news here. Unfortunately, the original video I recorded for this got corrupted for whatever reason, so now I'm redoing this 10 days later. But we're going to review the new information that, well, semi-new information that Hennessey put out about the Corvette ZR1, where Chevy lied to us in arguably the best way possible. Now, before we get into that, we're going to discuss a very important moment in history, specifically called the Japanese Gentleman's Agreement, where you have Honda, Toyota, Mitsubishi, Mazda, I probably just said two names twice, but I don't care. Back in 1988, these manufacturers came together and said that their performance cars were not allowed to exceed 276 horsepower. Now, the importance of that is some of those manufacturers, specifically Toyota, manipulated the rules a little bit behind that. So a majority of automotive manufacturers will measure horsepower at the crank horsepower. Now, at the time, what Toyota did with the Mark IV Supra is they strapped the son of a bitch to a chassis dyno and measured the horsepower and got 276, which is very important because you have a thing called drivetrain loss. Drivetrain loss is where you take your engine and you bolt it up to your transmission, your everything that rotates on your car. So your engine horsepower. So if you measure your vehicle's horsepower at the crank, that's what an engine dyno is. That's you taking an engine and bolting it directly to a dynamometer. So you get horsepower that way. Now, when you take that same engine at, let's just say 300 horsepower, and then you bolt it to a transmission, then you put your drive shaft in place, your axles, your differential, and your wheels, you lose horsepower for every new rotational, every ounce of rotational energy that is applied after the engine. I'm sorry, something's in my eye. The chassis dyno measures everything at the wheels. So you get your number you get your horsepower number with the included drivetrain loss. Now, Hennessey just put out a video of them taking the Corvette ZR1 and strapping it to a chassis dyno because they didn't believe the numbers that Chevy put out when they announced this car. The numbers being 1,076 horsepower and 821 foot-pounds of torque. Now, Hennessey dropped this video and made everyone go crazy. And we're going to watch that video together today. So I'm going to put on my headphones so I can listen to this too, because I haven't seen it yet. Well, I haven't seen this specific video yet. So we're going to watch it together and listen to this 5.5 liter V8 scream. All right, here we go. Now, this thing just sounds amazing. It blew the camera over. Oh my God. The carbon fiber wheels just, oh my God, the carbon fiber wheels. I love them. Now, these two rotors here are drive wheels, whatever you want to call them. That is your chassis dyno. That is where your horsepower is measured at. Again, an engine dyno, or your brake dyno, which bolts directly to your hub. These right here are your brake dynos or your hub dynos, where, again, you take your wheels off, you bolt them to the hubs directly, and you drive the car. Now, unfortunately, with those, you still experience a small amount of loss because you don't have the rotational weight of your wheels being applied to the road. Whereas this, your car is strapped to the dyno. So you get your wheels, you get everything. You get every ounce of loss possible according to this dyno, if you set them up right. And my God, does this car look beautiful. It just looks so good. Come on, send it. Send it. Oh, these videos make me so happy. I want to hear this thing just start screaming. I'm all nervous and giddy. Like, I know what's about to happen because it's 10 days later, but ugh. What? 168 miles per hour in 5th gear is wild. Wild for a production car. Especially a production car in the States. Oh. Okay. 1,050 horsepower. 1,050 horsepower and 821 foot-pounds of torque at the wheels. So when Chevy told us at the new ZR1 was going to have 1,076 horsepower and 821 foot-pounds of torque, everyone assumed it was measured at the crank. Well, it wasn't. It was measured at the wheels. Now, what's even crazier about this is when you calculate drivetrain loss. Now, I did the calculation, and the number that the new 5.5 liter twin turbo is pushing out at the crank is based on this number with like 25% drivetrain loss. At the crank, this engine is pushing 1,312 horsepower, which is a wild, wild number. Just, again, having an American sports car just start dropping numbers like that. American production horsepower being that high is wild. Like, I mean, we had the likes of the Hellcat Charger Challenger. We have the Ford Mustang GT500. We had the C7 ZR1, the ZL1 1LE, and we're talking the Hellcat was 707 horsepower. The I believe the GT500 was 806 or 821, somewhere in there. I can't remember the exact number, but the C7 ZR1, 755 or 715. I can't remember that number either. But regardless, having this car, the new C8 ZR1, pushing 1,321 horsepower at the crank is wild. For instance, going back to the Hellcats, the base Hellcat had 707 horsepower at the crank. So that means this new engine that is in the C8 ZR1 is pushing nearly double the horsepower, the crank horsepower as a Hellcat Challenger or Charger. Whatever suits your fancy. They're the same engine, just in one extremely heavy body and one Titanic of a body. This car makes double the crank horsepower than the car that people were losing their minds about back in 2014. It is wild to have to say this, that Chevy had, the people at Corvette have lost their minds, have lost their goddamn minds. But regardless, having something like this being directly comparable to the European hypercar, or hell, even the Hennessey Venom, a purpose-built performance car by an aftermarket shop, having a production car being able to keep up with the likes of that are insane. Absolutely insane. Like, I can't fathom that, because like having cars like that on the road are awesome. Having them on the track has got to be breathtaking. And the only thing I'm concerned about when it comes to this is with the new C8 ZR1 pushing that amount of horsepower, how long can it do it for? Like, granted, it's winter right now, so we won't see a lot of them. But come spring and summertime, I want to see how these cars stand up to the test of time. I want to see how they degrade over time. Because, sure, again, that car had 1,920 miles on it. I want to see what they can do at 30, 40, 50,000 miles. Because if they can keep up with that number and stay as reliable as we could hope for, that is insane, because you are pushing 1,076 horsepower reliably is a wild sentiment, because that is all of us car enthusiasts want. We all want to push our cars to the limit, but we want to keep them reliable enough to enjoy them. Like right now, my truck, like, it's down for the winter. I'm working on it because I've been having reliability issues with the thing. I want to push high 600-700 horsepower, but I want it to be reliable. If the Corvette ZR1, the C8 ZR1, can do that number reliably, that just changes the game for everybody. Because now you won't... Look at everyone who drives Koenigsegg or daily driven exotics. Look at all their cars. Look at the stories on VinWiki of all these people buying these $250,000+ million cars, even upwards of like $2-3 million cars, who go on cannonball runs or just drive them around at basic traffic levels. And they start to break. They start to run up your tab. Like, one story that comes to mind is somebody who was driving a Koenigsegg, and the car broke before they even started their journey, and they got the car back, but it was $100,000 later after repairs. Now, if the Corvette can, again, if it can do this horsepower reliably, there's not another thing that Koenigsegg, Pagani, McLaren, Ferrari, Lamborghini, there's not a thing they can do to put up with this car. Because if this car is, again, 1050 and 821 to the wheels reliably, this car could absolutely destroy the supercar scene inside the United States. And if Ford or Dodge Stellantis can meet up to this car, supercars and hypercars are officially dead inside the United States. If the big three can come out with something, or the other two of the big three can come out with something to rival this car. I can't wait to see it. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I can't wait to see it. And for the love of God, GM, please drop this crate engine, because we can see some crazy, crazy things if people start engine swapping this into some random cars, like everybody does with the Hellcat engines. I want to see this end up in like a Miata or something, for Christ's sake. Make it a crate engine, GM, please. And with that being said, I'm going to end off this video. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you for staying and watching. Please remember to like and subscribe here, because I want to do more of this. And if people keep pumping out stuff like this, I'm going to keep making videos. All right, y'all have a good rest of your day, night, whatever. Enjoy yourselves. Remember, drive responsibly unless in Mexico. Have a good one, you motorheads and bumper bunnies.